Editor's note: the following contains spoilers for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is now available to stream on Disney+, covered a lot of bases throughout its runtime. Not only did it serve as the first standalone sequel for Benedict Cumberbatch's Sorcerer Supreme, but it was also the fourth Marvel Cinematic Universe project to explore the concept of the multiverse following Loki, What If? And Spider-Man: No Way Home. In addition to dabbling in the superhero and horror genres thanks to the deft hand of Sam Raimi, Multiverse of Madness transforms into a tragedy where Wanda Maximoff, Elizabeth Olsen, is concerned. Throughout the film, Wanda intends to travel to a universe where her children, Billy, Julian Hilliard, and Tommy, Jet Klein, are alive. She seeks the multiverse-hopping powers of America Chavez, Xochitl Gomez, to accomplish her goal, leading to death and destruction on an unimaginable scale as she fully embraces her mantle of the Scarlet Witch. Collider video of the day. In the film's final act, America manages to gather control of her powers and sends Wanda through the multiverse to Earth 838. Earlier in the film, she'd used the Darkhold's power of dreamwalking to possess her Earth 838 self in order to try and find America. Upon seeing Earth 838's Billy and Tommy, she tries to reunite with them. That goes south once she attacks their mother, her 838 self, leaving them utterly afraid of her. After her Earth 838 self tells her no that they'll be loved, the Scarlet Witch says that no one will use the power of the Darkhold again. Making good on her word, she uses her chaos magic to collapse Mount Wundagore, destroying all copies of the Darkhold across the multiverse and burying herself within Mount Wundagore's innards. For all intents and purposes, it looks as though this is the end of Wanda's tenure in the MCU. But the Scarlet Witch's comic book history has featured her escaping the jaws of death more than once. A major example is the fan-favorite House of M storyline by Brian Michael Bendis and Olivier Coipel, where Wanda used her powers to restructure reality into a world where mutants ruled. Much like Multiverse of Madness, Wanda sought to have a world where she could be with her children, and also grant some measure of happiness to her father, Magneto. But when other heroes remembered the world as it was and rebelled, Wanda put things back to the way they were, and depowered the mutant race in the process. No one could find her, and she was presumed dead until New Avengers number 26 by Bendis and Alex Maleev. Hawkeye, having come back to the land of the living, attempted to find Wanda. The Archer soon discovered that she was living in Wundagore but had no memory of her powers or the actions she had taken. More recently, the Trial of Magneto miniseries by Leah Williams and Lucas Werneck dealt with Wanda's apparent murder and the suspicion that Magneto could be the culprit. However, Wanda was resurrected shortly afterward. There's also the matter of how Wanda's death was depicted in Multiverse of Madness. Though she's seemingly buried under piles of rubble, there's a flash of red light that matches Wanda's powers. It's entirely possible that Wanda could have used her powers to potentially hop into another universe, and is seeking atonement for her actions. It would be an interesting way to continue her story and bring her back for a future film. In fact, fans may learn of Wanda's fate sooner rather than later, as Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has teased that the MCU's roadmap will be revealed in the coming months. Whether that's at the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con or possibly at D23, with the latter seeming more likely given that Marvel is slated for a panel at this year's D23, there's a possibility that the Scarlet Witch could be a part of an upcoming Marvel Studios project. Given the nature of Wanda's powers and her connections to the Avengers and X-Men, it's fairly reasonable to expect Olsen to come back as the Scarlet Witch. She has been given the chance to flesh Wanda out in Multiverse of Madness and the WandaVision series on Disney+, playing a version of Wanda who is powerless or has stripped herself of her powers as atonement could give the character a new dimension. 838 Wanda could even cross over into the MCU's main Earth proper and bring Billy and Tommy back, which further fuels the possibility that the MCU's television side is gearing up for an adaptation of Young Avengers and the twins are key members of that team. Olsen even talked about a potential return during an interview with Collider, though she admitted she didn't know what capacity that return might entail. However you slice it, Multiverse of Madness is probably not the last audiences have seen of the Scarlet Witch. Read more about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The women of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness deserved better. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, all the Easter eggs you might have missed. What happens in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? 11 questions answered.